Hey, this is Home Game. Let's talk about Knave. So, Knave is a lightweight TTRPG that originally came out in the 90s, I believe, uh, by a writer by the name of Ben Milton. Um, so, his goal was to get back to a more classic style TTRPG, um, but he wanted to try to make it appeal to the newer audience who wanted all the new, better stuff that was coming out in the 90s. The original one had 7 pages, and you can get it pretty cheap, if not free, when you look around online. But, exciting, he created a second edition this year. The kick started last year. I don't know when it was first available, but I just got my copy this week. And the PDF just kind of got finalized. So, this is a tiny book. It's considerably larger than the original. The original was 7 pages. This one's 73. But don't let the tiny size fool you. This is some good stuff. And playing a lot of D&D 5th edition and reading a lot of other RPGs lately, I'm always looking for something that's more lightweight, that's still enough, for people to chew on. Because I find it really hard to get people to a table physically to begin with. And the lighter weight stuff, I feel like we would be able to meet up and just pull it out and start playing a whole lot faster. So, I really want to do a full deep dive into every chapter of this, but I don't want this video to be an hour long. So let's skim over some stuff, and I want to come back to this over several talks, and maybe make 5 or 6 short videos. Get it going a little bit deeper into every section. I say 5 or 6, and it'll probably turn into 14. So when you buy this, it's available on their website, swordfishisland.com, and it's available on Drivethrurpg. I don't know which version of the PDF Drivethrurpg is selling, but they're really good about giving you a decent amount of content when you buy something. So they'll probably give you both versions of the PDF. There's a version where it's just, as you scroll through, it's the next page, and then there's this version, which I prefer. This is a page by page version. I prefer this version where you get 2 pages every time, because the way the book is laid out, it's laid out in 2-page sections. So when you're flipping through the book, the 2 pages in front of you are formatted in such a way that you're not splitting. They try to format in such a way that you're not splitting information across pages, that you're not staring at both of them, if that makes sense. So what's really great, and without flipping all the way through the PDF, I'll just show you on the hard copy. This is the inside cover. And these are the rules for the game. These are the most frequent rules that you'll need to reference. And this is mostly the player stuff up front. And in the back is DM stuff. And it's a two-page breakdown of the rules the DM needs to reference. And all of this stuff in the middle gives a little bit more of an elaborate description, but it's really a lot of tables to help you create stuff. So even if you don't plan on running Knave, you're just a DM for any other game system that's fantasy based, you could just pick this up just for the tables. It's It's pages and pages of tables with a handful of pages that are the rules in here. And the rules are really concise, and they allow for you to customize them at your table as you see fit to fit your group. It's kind of just everything I was looking for in a lightweight RPG to try out with my experienced group. The layout of this is pretty impeccable in my opinion. So and the artwork's great too. I love the just line work, artwork. I like the old style drawings. This is nice. It fully describes the social contract between the game master and the players. So it says, what is the game master expected to do here, and what are the players expected to do? It's really straightforward. It's concise. You can just print screen this and throw it at your players if you wanted to, or just have them read this 1/2 page, or have them read both sides of it. Like, this is what your expectations of, like, tell your players straight out. This is what the game master's expectations are. Really set the path right at the beginning. This is a classless system, so you're not going to say I'm a rogue or I'm a druid or a fighter. You have guidelines for what the ability scores mean, and you have 3 points to drop in your ability scores. So each ability starts at 0. You can drop 3 points anywhere, or you can roll randomly to decide where they go. This book has a lot of, if you want to go through and make everything random about your character, this book definitely points you in that direction if that's what you want to do. Your careers help dictate your knowledge, the tools that you would have, that kind of thing. Hit points are done a little bit differently. When your hit points are gone, then you start taking wounds, which takes up inventory slots, which means you got to start dropping stuff if you don't have enough inventory slots to carry it. So it creates this real like snowball effect when it comes to like tension. So when you start failing, it's like you get down to 0 hit points, it's time to get out, because you're going downhill real fast. The leveling is fairly straightforward. You venture out, you get copper. When you come back to civilization, you say, "Hey, I got all this copper. This is worth this much XP," and you level. And leveling is just building up your stats a little bit more. But like I said, I don't want to go into huge details on everything. It has a really simplified monster stat block, and it says it's compatible with other OSR branded monster stat blocks, which are often free online, if not inexpensive, if you want to find PDFs. I do a little bit of digging. I bought bundles of holding and stuff like that, so I probably have bestiaries for OSR games just sitting in my directory that I haven't had a chance to use yet. So I'm gonna dig through there and see what I have. But it has nice random tables for everything, really. Structures, places, delving, room details. Like, you could do a completely random dungeon if you wanted to. But if anything, it sparks some ideas on how you might want to challenge your players in different ways, even if you're not playing Knave. It has 100 spells in this book, and the spells are really a conversation that you can have between you and your players, because they're not strictly overly defined. Which means your player can say, "Hey, I think it would work like this," and you can say, "Yeah, I think it will work like that too." Or you can say, "I think you're really stretching the limitations of that spell. but you can do it, but you're going to strain yourself, you know, that kind of thing, which I really like leaving that open for interpretation. And I would be open to discussing it with my players with D&D as well. Like, if they're saying, hey, yeah, I really want to, you know, make this fireball extend a little bit further, I'm willing to pay for that in other ways because this is a really, really dire event. And I really want to push the boundaries. I want to push my limitations right now. Like, I would be open for discussion in D&D, discussions like that in D&D. Or, like, I don't have the right material component, but I found this. Well, this is similar to this. Can I use that? And they'd be like, yeah, you can use that, but it won't be quite as effective. Or you can use that and it will be twice as effective. You know, I want to cast Fireball, but instead I rip the eye of a fire giant out, and I want to use that as my material component because I don't have the right material components for Fireball. You'd be like, well, yeah, your Fireball's going to do, radius is going to be twice as big in your Fireball because you're using the eye of a fire giant. So this leaves that open for interpretation, which I think is great. Anybody can cast spells. One spell book has a spell in it, and a spell book takes up a slot in your inventory. So you don't have to say, I don't have the intelligence for it. Intelligence might be an aspect that adds to the spell, so your spell may not be as strong or as resistant, or it might be easier for the creature you're targeting to save out of it or something like that. But you can still cast it. See, this one says shuffle. Intelligence number of creatures switch places randomly. So your intelligence, which in the start could be anywhere between 1 and 3, that many creatures would just randomly switch places. Let's see. I love that they have this, the generating new spells. So they just have a list of 100 wizard names and a list of 100 qualities, 100 effects, 100 elements, 100 forms. And you can say, this is Kurtep's abnormal persuading crystal, and that's the spell. And now you can just talk to your players about what you guys think that should mean. All these tables are amazing. You can see though that, like, this is the beginning of a section. You see relic magic. Here's descriptions of how relic magic works, and then here's 2 tables for relic magic. Next section, alchemy. Here's a description of how alchemy works, and then here's 5 tables to help you generate alchemical ideas, potions, what a potion feels like, tastes like, the color, the ingredients in the potion. So the book is really a tool to help you create, and then there's enough rules to play a TTRPG. This book encourages you to, like, pick up, little helpers to come with you on journeys and stuff like that. Logistics of dragging back your wealth after you get it, that kind of thing. Because your slots for your carrying capacity are only going to be somewhere between 10 and 3 to begin with. So when you begin, you might need that donkey to drag along with you, because he's going to add 30 slots of carrying. So when you go out on your adventure, you can load him up and drag him back. So, like I said, real simple TTRPG, but it still has enough meat to feel good when you play it, it seems. And if I were going to introduce someone into a tabletop role playing game, and I wanted to jump straight into the fun, this is exactly the type of game I would pull out. I wouldn't pull out D&D where we have to have, 10 discussions about how things work, and we're going to sit there for 4 hours trying to explain how to make a character and what everything means, and pour through 5 books to get it done, which is like the expectation nowadays. You know, if you bring one brand new person to a group of 4, ideally your group would help them out, but still, it's a lot to take in right off the bat. But this would be like, hey, here's the front cover. These are rules that we need to pay attention to. They're real simple. Don't worry, we'll walk you through them. And here's what the expectation is from you. Your character takes 5 minutes to create. Explain to them they're not a superhero, because the likelihood of dying in this game isn't nothing. I mean, you could definitely die, but if you die, it's real quick to get back in, and figure it out and move on. You know. Okay, that's Knave 2nd edition. Like I said, I'll probably make a few more videos breaking down specific sections a little bit more in depth, because I think that this book really warrants it. That's it. Thanks for watching.